Hello class, in this video I want to discuss your study guide for your final next week. Let me go here to my workspace where I have the page open, and you're gonna find this over here. Now it's called SSH guide, but it should be called study guide final spring 22. And here you have a list of the commands that will be included in your final. Some of them are more complicated than others, but yeah, this is all the commands that I'm going to include in your final. The list might get revised after the video gets uploaded, so just be aware of that. Let me see. Okay, now these over here are tasks. They are 21 tasks that I consider you should know how to do. And if you don't know a specific one of them, then you should revise your notes or practice them. For example, you should know how to work with Markdown right now because you're gonna prepare your submission in Markdown, so you should know how to work with Markdown. But you have been doing it the entire semester, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. Working with multiple terminal windows, like having the man page in one side and then having your actual workspace in another, and then another terminal for like playing around. That's a workflow that you should be accustomed to already because that's what you have been doing for the past 4 weeks. Using Flameshot, you've been using it from day one, so you should know how to do it. So I included over here because I want you to be aware that you will use all of these tools that you have been using from the beginning of the semester until now in the final, because the point of the final is to demonstrate your ability to utilize the knowledge you gain to solve problems. Let me see. I'm gonna jump straight to what you should submit. Now, the document that you're gonna give me, that's gonna be worth 20% of your final exam, is a document that includes each and every one of these commands. The tasks, you don't have to include them. If you want to, by all means, sure, of course. I don't have a problem with that, but you don't have to. It's not really necessary. I included them there for you to have an idea of things that you should know. But the commands you should. Each and every one of the commands, you should have a section like this in your document where you have the name of the command, the description of what the command does, syntax, and an example. And then 3 examples, 1, 2, and 3, and the command that solves the particular example. Here is an example of what I'm talking about. Look at my title, the mkdir command. Look at a description that I provided over here. Simple, plain English. It is used for creating directories. Syntax, the formula to use the command. mkdir, an option if required, and then the directories that I want to make. Examples, make a directory and look at the command that solves it. Make 2 directories, look at the command that solves it. Make a directory and look at the command that solves it. You should review the presentations and pick 3 of the examples in the presentation that you consider are going to help you understand the command better. And this is how you're going to study for your final. Now, once you have this document ready, just practice these commands. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Redoing the labs over and over and over is just memorization. What we're looking for is understanding of how things work, because that's what's really going to help you. The questions that I'm going to ask you in the final are different from the questions that I'm asking you in the labs. The lab is to help you understand the command, whereas the particular exam that you're going to take is to demonstrate that you understand what the command does. So you see, the labs and the final have different purposes. So memorizing one doesn't really help on the other, but understanding the purpose of one helps you understand the purpose of the other. If you know how to make a directory, and I ask you a question like, Maria needs to organize a folder, make sure that all the files belong to their proper directory. I am telling you, make folders for these files. I'm just not using that particular wording because in the real world, you don't get tasks that are very neatly described. A lot of times, a problem is not even properly understood, and your goal is to break it down and understand it so that you can find a solution to it. That is what understanding something really means. The fact that you can utilize the tool to solve a complicated problem, sometimes even a simple problem. With that said, if you have any questions about this, let me know. You're going to see a Dropbox for submitting this document that I'm going to put on Blackboard, and I'm going to send you a notification in the Slack as well of the Dropbox where you're going to submit this. Yep, that's about it. I'm going to also announce a day where I'm going to go over all of these commands And we're going to do a tutoring session as well, because if I offer it for other semesters, I'll give you the benefit as well. Again, any questions, you know where to find me.